maakt machtig. Hoe een klein land groot kan zijn, is dat niet prachtig? Nederland, oh Nederland, jij bent een kampioen. Wij houden van Oranje om zijn daden en zijn doel. Straks als het rood-wit-blauw voor ons wordt gehesen, dan zijn wij een groot gezin. Met goud zijn wij geprezen. Nederland, oh Nederland, jij bent een kampioen. Wij houden van Oranje om zijn daden en zijn doel. Van de tribune klinkt het Wilhelmus nu nog mooier dan voorheen. Ach, wie laat geen tranen. Nederland, oh Nederland, jij bent een kampioen. Wij houden van Oranje om zijn daden en zijn doel.
Okay, let me ask this question this morning. What's the use of jersey in football? I mean, we hear the word jersey all the time. What do you think it actually represents? A lot of people believe that it's an essential part of a football player's uniform. It serves several purposes. One is identification, comfort, protection, and of course, sometimes it carries a sponsorship. So this morning, we're doing something. You can go straight to our Facebook fan page. You see a picture of the Super Falcons new jersey. That's what they'll be wearing at the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand later this summer. Nike unveiled this thread yesterday and is getting a lot of people talking. I see Asisa Toshuala and I think Rashida Tajibadi. Yes, these are the models for our Super Falcons new jersey. So you can get on it. Let us know what you think as well about this. Just, you know, Nigerians, whether it's looking like Adire or Kampala, they will always have their say on it. It's either it's too green or lemonish in nature. Nigerians, I think you guys
We're
are
never
so
satisfied.
so satisfied. Okay, beautiful Tuesday morning. We call it Super Tuesday on the Integrity Station. Splash 105.5 FM broadcasting from the White House building, Felele, in the city of Ibadan, capital of Oyo State, Nigeria. You're welcome on board Sports Bank this day, the 4th day in the month of April, year 2023. So, it reads 4403. That's the way it sounds. My name is Tunde Olawuwo. Blessing Fowe is on board this morning. Yes, and Blessing pulled that off, the old Super Falcons jersey thing. So, Blessing, two things you're going to do. Of course, you do the courtesies by, greeting our people, and then drop your own take first.
First, about the jersey. Well, okay, good morning, our sport lovers. It's another Tuesday right here on your Integrity Dial, Splash 105.5 FM. Happy to be back here on the show again. And yes, speaking of the jerseys, one of the first things that comes to my mind is the fact that it is the first time we are seeing a sportswear, brand actually designing something that is specific to the women. Oftentimes, you realize when we are going to the World Cup, the ladies get to put on what the men must have worn at their own World Cup. I remember, I think it was in 2019. It took us a while for the that very famous jersey that won us the Jersey World Cup to be available for the women when they were preparing for their own tournament. So to say that has now been, is now put behind, I think is actually incredible. It's a great piece of business from Nike, and it's actually very intelligent because they are able to key into what was the progress that was made at the 2019 Women's World Cup in France, and that's why they come up with this idea. Now all of the women's team have threads that are dedicated to them. And now to the Nigerian jersey. The home jersey, it's very, very reminiscent of the FIFA 2002 World Cup, Korea, Japan. And like I said yesterday on Sports Bank, I mean, I flash back to Korea, Japan 2002, and there's just one face that keeps, popping up in my head, and that's Efetobori Soje, because of the, the headgear, the bandana that they wore, and then to complement the jersey. So that's the vibe I'm getting from there. I do not think it is bad. I think it's okay. I think it's good. It's a jersey that I would love to buy and to wear, but I do hope the performance will be given in that jersey will not be reminiscent to what happened at the Korea-Japan World Cup in 2002. And then to the away jersey, I mean, for me, I think that's the best. People have been criticizing it, but for me personally, I think I like that. I like the, although it feels like a training gear, like something you would wear as a home wear. There's something they call home wear with the national team, something they wear when they're in camp, and maybe not exactly playing. But I don't have problems with it. I think it's the best for me, in my own opinion. I love this so much, and it's actually something that I could buy both the top and the short. I mean, it's a laudable designs from Nike, and they've said that all of these designs have picked something that is very, very peculiar, that's very that's just very specific to Nigeria art and the culture. So that's my take. I think I like it overall.
Okay. Well, on our Facebook page, Okeke Obuchigo says that jersey is a no. I beg, which kind of color be that? Okay, so I'll go over this again. A jersey performs one function, identification. It allows players to be easily identified by the team they are playing for and the position they play. 2, comfort. Jerseys are typically made from lightweight, breathable materials that are designed to keep the player comfortable and dry during a game. 3, protection. Some jerseys are designed with padding to help protect players from injury, especially in positions like quarterback and lineman. 4, sponsorship. This serves as a way for teams to generate revenue through sponsorship deals, as they can be emblazoned with logos of corporate sponsors. Yeah. So the question is, which of these 4 major functions is this jersey serving? I think the issues many people are having is the shade of green. We always like our green to be... What is our shade of green?
Like the national flag, the shade of green of the national flag. We've always wanted...
But it mustn't be like that.
That's the point. It doesn't have to be like that all the time. It's always one place where people are talking about is either it is too light, the green is too light, or the green is too deep. If you remember
this looks
there was one green jersey. Well, this is very, very light, like lemon. In fact, this is even lighter than what was obtainable at the 2002 World Cup in Korea, Japan. There was this green jersey that Mikel wore, that we wore around that time Mikel was having his last round of matches for Nigeria. I mean, I remember the argument then was it was too green. It wasn't reminiscent of the green that we had in our national flag. But overall, in terms of the design, in terms of branding, in terms of identity, I think it ticks all boxes.
Okay, let's know what you think about this. You can be in our comment section as well, and be sure that we'll take all of them. Absolutely all of them. Former Wimbledon champion Gabin Muguruza says she will take an extended break from tennis until the summer. The Spanish former world number 1 has only played 4 times this year, not appearing at all since January. The 29-year-old who has dropped to 132nd in the world said she will miss the clay and grass court seasons. She reached the top of the rankings in 2017 and was third at the end of 2021, but did not pass the quarterfinals of the tournament last year. She won her maiden Grand Slam title at the French Open in 2016 and claimed the Wimbledon title a year later. Meanwhile, WWE and the owners of mixed martial arts franchise UFC are to form a new £17.3 billion sports entertainment brand. Let me take the figure again, £17.3 billion. The publicly traded company will see UFC owners Endeavor Group Holdings taking a 51% controlling interest and existing WWE shareholders 49%. The business will be led by Endeavor Chief Executive Arimano. WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon will fill the same role at the company, with Dana White remaining UFC president. WWE has a global reach and fan base which includes a wide age, demographic, and range of incomes. The company had more than 16 billion social media views in their videos in the final quarter of 2022.
Yeah.
It has nearly 94 million YouTube subscribers and has more than 20 million followers on TikTok. Blessing, I feel somehow, when I see the kind of exploits that's different. I mean, in England, the EPL is their biggest
brand. Yes.
In the USA, you can talk about the NBA, the NFL,
yes,
even their MLS.
Yes, yes, even golf
and golf as well. You think about South Africa. Cricket is a major sport.
Rugby as well,
and even their league is doing well in terms of
What is our major sport? What is our export? Super Eagles is our major export.
No, Super Eagles cannot be our
Super
major
Eagles
export.
should not be biggest. It should not.
The Super Eagles is just our national team.
Yes.
I mean, everybody has got that.
Yes.
We're talking about that thing that will fetch you money week in, week out, almost on a daily basis.
I am afraid to tell you that we do not have that at the moment. If you're talking about biggest export, then the Super Eagles is the biggest brand.
What should it be?
Wow, football is something that is actually very huge in Nigeria.
Football. Do you think our league, the MPFL, should be our biggest sport? I mean, if you're just going to maybe snap a finger and come up with the sports.
Ordinarily, because of how much of followership we have for football in Nigeria, how much of love we have for football, then maybe, yes, the league should be that big export. But we are not eating that. We're not even scratching the surface, not even closer to scratching the surface.
I will call for this break now. But my gut feeling is that if we invest in boxing as well,
athletics too, table tennis too, table tennis because our own person is the top of rankings in Africa.
Let's say pick top 3. That should be
top 3
our
sport that I think
drawer.
Should be. Actually, I'd like to do 4.
Okay.
I'll do basketball. I'll do football. And I'll do athletics.
Let's don't do football. We are not the United States.
Okay, we should leave football. Let's leave football.
Don't leave football. Just pick top 3.
Top 3. Oh. Okay, I'll do football. I'll do basketball, and I'll do athletics.
Basketball.
Yes.
Basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your people.
We can actually build on it. Come on, we have good national teams who are top of the rankings.
That is more in hope than in expectation. We'll be back after this commercial break. Stay with us.
So special to us, golden morn. So special to us. I can't afford a day without this goodness in a bowl, giving energy to make it stay golden. Golden morn. So special to us. Aficio, atintao. Ṣọ́ọ̀bù alálùbáríkà tèmi dire ultra modern market Dagi market extension.
Golden Bricks Realty and Investment Limited. Àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tún ti ṣàṣeyọrí tó lóòrìn. Tèmi dire ultra modern market and shopping mall. Ọjà agbági tuntun phase 2 Wema Iwo Road Ìbàdàn. Àti ṣí àti ń tàwọn shops yẹn báyìí o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́jà títà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ ní pẹ́rẹ́. Ẹ fẹ́ ra aṣọ ńláńlá. Àǹkárá léèsì gíní báàgì àti bàtà. Ṣọ́ọ̀bù tẹ́ ti lè rọ oúnjẹ jíjẹ wa ń bẹ pẹ̀lú. Ìjọba ló allocate ẹ̀. Ààbò tó gbogbo ń bẹ ń bẹ tọ̀sán tó rú. Wọ́n gbẹ́ bọ́ ò síbẹ̀. Wọ́n tún kọ́lé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni láti ti yípo bẹ̀. Ó tóbi ó pọ̀ ó fẹ́. Ó yẹ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ rẹ́ǹtì ní abẹ́ fẹ́ ra ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Èyí náà jẹ́ tètè lọ gba fọ́ọ̀mù báyìí. The Ministry of Trade and Investment room 56 Secretariat Ìbàdàn. Wà láyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Ẹ pè 0802-883-4320. 0802-883-4320. Àrètí yín lọ́jà tèmi ní rẹ̀ gbági tuntun ìlú Ìbàdàn.
In Ramadan, we are all connected. We all have the same empathy towards one another. We all feel the same rush to catch that moment of iftar and walk into the same special home-cooked meals. Every Ramadan, we are one when we fast, but not always when we break fast. This Ramadan, let's be one when sharing iftar. Sharing makes us one. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
Great to have you back on Sports Bang. Stone Weze, Ezekiel, the design of jersey is wonderful. I love it, and it makes players look primarily as women, not a man-like jersey for both genders. Let's us learn to appreciate ours instead of criticism. Yetoma Kinsley, good morning. I saw the jersey yesterday. I love it. But for my jerseys to avoid misidentification of the players, it helps referring to distinguish between different sides, also to identify who made a rash tackle, especially in a crowded situation. But is it the jersey that will help you identify, or knowing the person, or maybe the name at the back? Of
course, the names. There's the reason why they have names at the back of their jerseys.
Imafuja Peter, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Agubi Ade Sharif, good morning. You can still go on our Facebook fan page, see the replica of the jerseys, and drop your take on the show before we leave. Now, moving on sports bang, chairman of the referees committee of the Nigerian Football Federation, Faith Irobo, has entered that the interim management committee of the Nigerian Professional Football League will look further into the incident which forced the matchday 12 encounter between Remo Stars and Gombe United in Ikene to be abandoned on Sunday. Blessing in just about 20 seconds. Tell us about this incident.
It's not sure what exactly made the referee decide not to come out of their dressing room halftime in that game. And it's maybe not be unconnected to the fact that there were threats, but the IMC are saying that they're going to investigate what actually happened there, and then we'll know what the verdicts will be, who gets what. But Remo Stars also are assured that even while they also didn't understand why the referees didn't come out of their dressing room, but the entire arena was peaceful. I mean, everyone was calm, and they were playing music to entertain the fans in the process. So that game had to be replayed again yesterday behind closed doors, no fans whatsoever, and ended goalless. So we wait on the IMC to come up with the reports from the interview, and then let's know what the sanctions will be and who is at fault and what happened indeed.
Okay, for the Super Falcons, it's not just about just remember they are preparing for the World Cup.
Yes.
But before then, they have some engagement. The team already departed for Turkey on Monday out of the friendlies against Haiti women's national team and World Cup co-hosts New Zealand. The 9-time African champions will come up against Haiti at the Emir Sports Complex in Antalya, Turkey, this Friday before taking on World Cup co-host New Zealand at the Madan Sports Complex, also in Antalya, and next Tuesday. Nike also unveiled jerseys for other nations that will kit at the Women's World Cup, including New Zealand, Australia, Brazil, England, France, Korea, Netherlands, Canada, Norway, Portugal, China, and defending champions USA. We are elite. I mean, that's where we belong.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Peru became the second country in recent weeks to be stripped of the right to host a FIFA tournament after the governing body on Monday said the South American nation had failed to fulfill infrastructure commitments ahead of the Under-17 World Cup. Now, we'll take a break this time around for the BBC Premier League updates. One game, 2 red cards, and it ended 1-0 between Everton and Tottenham.
Advantage Everton.
Advantage Everton?
Yes. Temporarily climb out of relegation zone, so yes.
Advantage Sports too. Temporarily they're in the top 4.
There are 2 games, they have played 2 games more than the other 2 contenders, so.
You know what they say sometimes, that if they end the league today, they go the Champions League.
Well, perhaps, yes.
The Premier League update is up next.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Andy Bowell at the BBC Sports Centre. Everton moved out of the Premier League relegation places and Tottenham Hotspur moved up into the top 4 after a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park. Both sides had a player sent off, and Michael Keane's long-range strike on 90 minutes cancelled out Harry Kane's goal from the penalty spot for the visitors. Everton boss Sean Dyche was happy with the battling performance from his team.
I just know the mentality is growing. That's what I've been looking to do, continue with that, and that is definitely on show. The work ethic of the players, the belief in the system, the belief in what we're trying to achieve. I think that's on show, and I think tonight was outstanding some parts of the game. The attitude towards it's outstanding, the feel of the performances, it just keeps growing, and that's the important thing for us.
Chelsea's interim head coach Bruno says it's been a difficult time after Graham Potter's sacking. Despite a massive outlay on new players at the club, Chelsea remain 12 points outside the top 4.
They will be sad as well because they know of the level of human being that Graham is, and they're going to take responsibility as they've done since day one. And he's just expecting to be next to us and supportive. And obviously it's been a difficult 24 hours for all of us, for the staff, for the families. And now we just have to deal with the situation.
Leicester City are also looking for a new manager after Brendan Rodgers was relieved of his duties over the weekend. Leicester are in the drop zone, and the club's former skipper Steve Walsh says whoever takes charge has got a big job on their hands.
The one thing that any manager coming into this club is going to find hard is that this squad needs refreshing, and with losing leaders and real characters in that dressing room, the experienced players that you need in a squad has gone.
And for more football news on the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, welcome back. That was the BBC Premier League update. Still talking Monday night football in the Spanish La Liga. It was 1-1 as well between Valencia and Rayo Vallecano. Italian Serie A, Empoli defeated Lecce 1-0, and Sassuolo and Torino played out a 1-0 draw. Tonight, Bournemouth will host Brighton and Hove Albion. Leeds United versus Nottingham Forest. Leicester City against Aston Villa, and Chelsea to play Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp said he's still Liverpool manager because of the past rather than his team's current form. Blessing.
Well, you can understand where it's coming from or why he has said that, because this season hasn't been one to remember for Liverpool generally, and the things that he has achieved at the moment is he spent 7.5 years at Liverpool, and that makes him the longest serving manager in the Premier League at the moment. And he was that one manager who was able to bring back the glory, quote and unquote, was able to win the major medals, major trophies, particularly the Premier League, winning for the first time in 30 years. So all of that put together is the reason why I said he understands that. I mean, if the owners were to be, for instance, the kind of owners that Chelsea have, perhaps he would have been sacked, long sacked, let go of the job. But he understands that the things that he was able to achieve in the past, I mean, they keep looking at that and, understand that if he was able to do it then, perhaps he could be able to, get it done again. That's the reason why he's still there. And I think from what we discussed on Saturday on Whatsport, we also talked about how he may be in a transition in terms of changing the play. You understand that he's a coach who likes the game pressing, and that's because the players he met on ground that he brought on board as well, he was playing to their strength at that point. It looks like he might be wanting to switch a bit into having flair players, and that means they have to be willing to get those players who will fit into that new system and rebuild from ground up all over again. So that explains why he's saying that if we were to go by the things that is going on at the moment, perhaps it would have been long sacked. But definitely the owners, he says, they are sensible and they see what's going on and they actually understand. So but tonight against Chelsea, it's against another team that's also a bit hapless at the moment, seeing that they sacked Graham Potter and the man who is now in charge. I think it will be interesting to see what statement to be putting down. He's just an interim coach. I don't know if he will be playing to want to keep the job long term, but I also know that Chelsea, the board, will not want that at all. 11
managers so far,
yes. Sacked. I mean, of course, this season alone, this is the third manager Chelsea will be having. I mean, it speaks so much to what the season that Chelsea are having at the moment. But can they still try to push to get into Conference League, perhaps, even if they cannot get to the Europa League? I think it's a possibility. And how they turn up against teams like Liverpool tonight is really going to count. How many more games to the end of the season? Maybe 11 or 10 or 9 or thereabouts. I mean, every game counts from this moment onward. And for Liverpool, they also want to keep touch with the top 5, with Europa League spot and maybe Champions League. It's going to be a very tough one.
Number 3, number 4, number 5 in England are on 50 points.
Yes.
Even though Spurs has played 2
games more, yeah.
Well, it's quite tight at
very,
that
very
level.
Tight. Very tight.
The Spanish Copa del Rey tonight, Athletic Bilbao will be hoping to overturn a 1-0 deficit in the first leg against Osasuna. In the German Cup, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Union Berlin, and Bayern Munich against Freiburg. Thomas Tuchel is with the reigning German champions, and it looks like they're getting their mojo back as a team. Italian Coppa Italia, Juventus versus Inter Milan. This is a derby, and we hope to see an interesting game coming from there. Going back to Spain, UEFA President Alexander Ceferin said the refereeing scandal facing Barcelona is one of the most serious situations he has ever seen in football. What is going on? European Football Governing Body announced in March it had opened an investigation into payments Barca made to the former Vice President of Spain's refereeing committee. In another news, Barca have called for La Liga president Javier Tebas to resign after it was alleged he provided false evidence against them. Media in Spain reported yesterday that Tebas handed over documents to prosecutors which attempted to incriminate Barca and two former club presidents as part of the investigation into payments made to the former vice president of the refereeing committee in Spain.
I think what it means is Barcelona will not be getting off the hook easily, and seeing that Schäferin has also, had something to say about the allegations. I mean, saying that it's very, very serious apparently means that investigation is going to be very thorough, and they're also seeing Barcelona beginning to, perhaps they have something against Javier Tebas, and he's always criticizing them. And he's been doing that for a while, and actually even calling for his resignation. I think what it means to me is Barcelona won't be getting off any easily at all. The investigation is going to be thorough, and the sanctions is what we do.
How is the club facing investigation asking somebody to step down?
No, they're not facing investigation asking someone to step down. I mean,
what I'm saying is Barca is facing investigation now.
Yes.
And then on the other hand, you're asking somebody to step down.
They're telling Javier Tebas that he has been criticizing, indirectly saying that he probably has a hand in all of the misfortunes that they're having off the pitch. That's what it means. That's what it means, and that's why they are calling him out and telling him to resign.
But they agreed to making that payment, according to them, for some kind of consultancy.
Well, honestly, I think it's a very, very big issue for Barcelona. It's not going to be easy for them to get out of this one. And Real Madrid has also joined clubs who are, part of the.
As you would expect.
Of course, I mean, a time to get one over your hack rival. So
okay.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot. But I don't know what the summer would hold. But it's so good to see that they have found a way to separate what's going on off the pitch from how they are handling business on the pitch, and I think that should gives more kudos to Xavi, and for me much more respect to him, because I didn't give him a chance when he was brought on board as the coach, and so far he has done so well.
Before we leave, Serie A club Juventus have been plunged into more trouble after being accused by Italian prosecutors of hiding capital gains worth millions of euros with the aid of 7 other clubs.
Are you following the trend here from Barcelona with their off-pitch issues to Juventus to Manchester City with the allegations leveled against them? Breaches. I mean, just follow the trend. Follow the trend.
What is the trend?
I don't know. The sanctions will determine the trend later.
We need to leave, Blessing.
Well, thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thanks so much, and of course, for listening, for dropping by and putting in your comments. Don't forget that later this evening at 6:30, we'll be back on the second half of Sports Bang. My name is Tunde Olawuwo. This morning, we worked alongside Dixon. We call him Pogs.
Mwalaja.
Have a fantastic Tuesday. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Here is
105.5.
Accessing
105.5.
one station, all the hits.
105.5. Splash.
Your station. Here is
105.5.
From the very beginning, we just saw the world differently than everyone.